Praises to Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Charakakwadash. Double honors to all the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone. Salutes to all the sincere elect out there. Aria, back at you with another lesson. Officially in the year of apostates, agents, and sellouts. So a lot of people are going to be deceived, right? When you really this is what the FDA approved ingestible, trackable, digital. They're calling it a digital tab. But you don't own your own body anymore once you swallow this. We're going to check out this clip, Lord willing.
Dragon's blood is great for our...
FDA approved the first electronic pill.
Lord willing, be edifying. Let me take it to the top.
FDA approved the first electronic pill, if I can call it like that. It is basically biological chip, but it is in the tablet. And once you take the tablet and dissolves into your stomach, sends a signal that you took the tablet. So imagine the applications of that, compliance. The insurance companies to know that the medicines that patients should take, they do take them. It is fascinating what happens in this.
Right, so they're coming at this in a way where if you say it's fascinating what happens if you take this electronic tablet. And also for a future video, and they got something called electronic tattoos. But let me focus on this one for the time being, which is another step closer to Revelation 13 and 16. Electronic tattoos, electronic tablets, and it's fascinating when you take it because something strange happens. As a matter of fact, I'm going to come back to this in a couple of videos we're going to look at. There's a couple, but a brother mentioned this. What is the vax portion? I mean, he mentioned vax portion, so curiosity, as you do, I just went and I just done a fact check on it. Just interesting because what is it? Essentially, what powers does vax have? Increased speed and short-range teleportation. Aside from that, vax is fate touched with alloys him to see, allows him to see and influence the threats of fate that bind anyone around him. Right? Based on some of their those Harry Potter movies. When you get into it, they hide it in their movies, don't they? The Harry Potter movies, Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe, all them kind of magician witchcraft movies that they call white witches, which means it's all right to dabble in it because it's white. It's harmless fun. People do those types of things, young teenagers, and that's how they get them. So Raven Queen, what's this all about here? Has altered his gift a little to bind him to herself. Anyway, right? So we get too much in the folly, but there's another. I checked that. That's what come up. I fact checked it. Vax portion. I also heard this too, and I fact checked this. Compound V superpower potion. Compound V appears as a light navy blue liquid and is usually contained with glass vials. It grants extraordinary ability when injected onto the circulatory system and living things, including animals. These abilities, superpowers, are generally random, although certain factors can influence their exhibition. What happened on here? Why can't adults take it? The whole problem with Compound V is that if you are an adult, you will probably die, right? So when I tapped that in my tablet, I was trying to get the same answer from, I don't know, sometimes Google be very random. Trying to get the same answer because I read it from my tablet because I can't get that. I can't corner Google on my tabletop for some reason. But sometimes the tablet be hitting the point. I tapped in the same thing. Compound V superpower potion. A fictional blue-colored genetically engineered serum from the boys Francis created by Frederick Vaut to create superpower. superpowered humans. It works by altering the DNA, induce mutation. What comes another movie that comes to mind? The X-Men. What were they? They were mutants with special freaky-like abilities, and they made them out to be all freaks and outcasts in society, which really, when you really get into that, the X-Men movies and a lot of those superpower movies, superhero movies, is really talking about the elect and what we're going to become, which is they're already treating us like outcasts already, which that's being happening. They're setting the stage for that, the persecution. Right now it's indirect and they're trying to make it direct, right? They're setting the stage for that, but that's a whole nother video. But yep. So the mutants, the X-Men, they were outcasts. So DNA to induce mutations that grant unique, often random superpowers, while it is most effective when administered to infants. Yep. Because if they, as it says here, if you administer it to an adult, you will die. You will probably die. So this is what's taking place in certain universities too. It's happening as the land backing off the elders live stream, Elder Kazak, and he was with one of the brothers from Dallas, and that just had my curiosity. I had to fact check it, but you can't put penny. You have to fact check it because you can't underestimate, the devil. You can't put anything past him. The scriptures be exposing him lately, much more so, with all these Epstein files, spy cop files. So let me finish this. Grant unique, often random superpowers, while it is most effective when administered to infants with powers manifesting later. Yeah, and that's what one of the elders said. If you ingest it to the child, they're saying you don't do it to the adults, but if you ingest it to the children, in this particular, here, this is the place, GMV. Right, I done my fact checking. Right, GMV, all virtual autopsy. I think that's the word. Training in Imperial College. So, like if I'm butchering that word. Simulation plays a key role in surgeon training. Virtual reality provides a much more realistic learning environment and allows for trade error learning without any undesired consequences for patients, right? So it's like trial and error using guinea pigs. Well, when you get into it, you don't have to read all of this, but they basically do experimental training, surgeons here, on guinea pigs. They get the children when they're a certain age, inject them, and not knowing what the outcome's going to be, as what the brother said, they're expecting to give them superpowers, but they don't know the eventuality. There may all kinds of mutations could come out. Probably will, knowing the Most High gonna make it backfire on them. Probably will backfire on them. But that's what's taking place in this place called GMV, particular place where there's a college, and they do these experimental trials, and people are just guinea pigs. We know that, in this FDA, it's a lot of guinea pigs. They use guinea pigs, trial and error. But they say if they inject it to an adult, they die, but they get them when they're young. That's exactly the point. While it is most effective when administered to infants, with powers manifesting later, it is highly dangerous and often fatal to adults. Woo. So how I got into this is just, right hand side. And we're gonna bring out the scriptures too. They want powers to create miracles. The Edomites, as we know them, are searching out. As a matter of fact, I can't hold off anymore. I've got to read it. Psalm 64 and 6 says, they search out iniquity, they accomplish a diligent search. Yep, that's what they're doing, seeking out these potions. Compound V, superpower potion. Vax potion. All right. And there's others too. There's others. This is one of them as well. The digital trackable device, in which we know that's just a step closer to the M.O.T.B. The digital tattoos, again, lead, and they're gonna sell it to us in a way where if you take it, you're gonna manifest spirit superpower, and it obviously left hand side, or it's gonna heal them. It's gonna heal your ailment. With some brothers, they're gonna try and deceive everybody, as we know. We're gonna get to the scriptures. So here, some of these are on the comment board. I'm going to read some of these here. The boys, how does compound V know what powers to give each user, and where does the energy come from? For the powers cosmic, energy come from power cosmic. Who had power cosmic? Who was powered by power cosmic? Silver Surfer was empowered by power cosmic. And then you had another one, which wasn't empowered by power cosmic. Incredible Hulk. The Incredible Hulk was empowered by, I might even just ask, because I know, was it the gamma ray? Yeah, Incredible Hulk was empowered by the gamma ray. Let me just pull this up anyway. Just want to see, just to see, but I don't want to be going off. What was Incredible Hulk empowered by? Yeah, gamma radiation, or gamma rays, which altered the body chemistry, right? That's what they're working on. That's exactly what they're working on. And don't underestimate them. Don't put it past them. And I don't, right? Gamma radiation or gamma rays. So they know what's taking place, what's potentially going to happen on the right hand side. The elect are going to be endowed with spiritual power. So they want to find a way. Let me read this comment, and then we're going to get to the scriptures. I imagine it's similar to X gene mutation. That's the X-Men movie again. In Marvel, humans in the world of the boys might already have the potential. Right, it says the boys might already have the potential for these powers. There may be a select young set of boys. Right, this is from Rabbit. A young set of boys which just have a very awkward something about them, that they've probably done tests on them, blood tests, different types of tests on them, and say, yeah, they maybe these are the guys we're looking for. You know, getting the idea from the mutant, the X-ray, the X-Men movies. So we're gonna experiment on these guys. Talking about the boys might already have the potential for these powers. Compound V just activated it. And as for how they are empowered, it likely depends on the person. For someone like a train, it's powered, fueled by its body's metabolic process. But for others, it might be based on dopamine, adrenaline, nutrient in their diet, some external power like light or radiation. We don't know. So they're just selecting random individuals that they're just doing experiments on people. Esau's a mad scientist, man. Once you have the power, another comment here. Once you have the power, additional doses of V will amplify those powers. This is why a train keeps getting faster, or at least doesn't get slower with additional doses, but he doesn't get lazier. Oh, this is crazy. How does lead to stronger powers? Homelander received a massive dose as a child and was raised in a lab, especially to how powerful a superhero they could create and control. In the cosmic genetic determination, the powers you will get. Some of it's just damn foolishness and just crazy, but yeah, Esau is crazy. He's described as a crazy man, a harbinger of death. Anyway, let's get back to this. And then we're going to get the scriptures.
FDA approved the first electronic pill, if I can call it like that. It is basically biological chip that it is in the tablet. And once you take the tablet and dissolves into your stomach, sends a signal that you took the tablet. So imagine the applications of that, compliance. The insurance companies to
It just went to that. I didn't make it go to that. But look here, see there, and this woman here, because it's been mentioned in certain things like the sea. So I ain't gonna play it. But this woman here saying she's getting some kind of side effect from the sea, what she took, that around the time of the sea, the Lucy Juicy. She's saying she's got some kind of, which is not something nothing to do. When you listen to her, it's nothing to do with no superpower. She just said she can sense and smell. Her senses are highly increased. She smells like she says she smells because it mentions that word in it, the V. I'm not going to play the video. Certain people, But anyway, she's saying she gets when she's took the V, and she gets them nasty, horrible, metallic, metal-like taste in her mouth ever since. It comes on her intensely, and she said anyone else who's got the V, she says she knows because she can smell the V on them. It smells horrible. She said it smells like mechanical smell, chemical smell. So there's some kind of community where they've all got together and they're talking about it in their seminars and saying, yeah, there's something happening to us, and we done tell them already there was going to be consequences for taking it, the Lucy Juicy, but yeah, there's things happening to people ever since that the beginning of 2020 when they introduced it. You got another one here, right? Just to give you an idea, this takes me back to those movies like Harry Potter movies, and basically it's witchcraft. The portion you drink will grant you dark superpowers, which portion you drink, whatever. Right? Basically, Esau. Let me read it again. Let me get a couple more scriptures. That's the point, right? Some of it is they're talking about the Lucy Juicy, but as we know, they enticed a lot of people to taking it because they wasn't going to have to get that thing, the C thing, if you took the Lucy Juicy. So they're going to try the same principle as we know when it comes to the M.O.T.B. So I'll read this again. Psalm 64 and 4. Psalm 64 and 6 says, they search out iniquity, they accomplish a diligent search, both the inward thoughts of every one of them, and the heart is deep. Right? We're talking about superpower here. So they're searching out how to get the superpower on the left-hand side. Super V, Vax portion. And brothers was talking about it was going in. It was really going in. Right? Every one of them is heart is deep. Yep. But God shall shoot at them. We know how they're going to end up. With an arrow, suddenly they shall be wounded. Yeah, it's going to backfire on them. But as we know, let me hit that one. What happened with Moses? People, all right, let's just get the scriptures, man. Let me just get it and let the scripture speak. I'm going to go back to, I'm going to get Exodus. Exodus chapter 7 and 19. Is that the one I want? I think I want 19. Yeah, that's the one. And the Lord spoke unto Moses, say unto Aaron, take thy rod and stretch out thine hand upon the waters upon Egypt, the waters of Egypt, and upon the streams, upon their rivers, and upon their ponds, and upon all their pools of water, that they may become blood, and that there may be blood throughout all of the land of Egypt, both in vessels of wood and in vessels of stone. And Moses and Aaron did so as the Lord commanded, and he lifted up the rod and smote the waters that were in the rivers in the sight of Pharaoh and in the sight of his servants, and all the waters that were in the rivers were turned to blood. Right? He obeyed the commandment, and it took place. All the rivers were turned into blood, and the fish that were in the rivers died, and the rivers stank, and the Egyptians could not drink of the waters of the rivers, and there was blood throughout all the land of Egypt. Yep, that's what took place, right? For everybody to see. Everybody witnessed that. Witness it who saw it. So 22 of Exodus 7. And the magicians of Egypt did so with their enchantments, and Pharaoh's heart was hardened. Yes, so that's the point right there. The magicians also done a duplicate. They counteracted the same thing, and we know what happened with the rod as well. When Moses cast down his rod, it turned into a serpent. And Jammies and Jamries, right? They're soothsayers, they're magicians in them days, done the same thing with their rod, but with their rods, and Moses' rod, it ate up their rod, their two rods. But the point is, yeah, they was able to have that. They had the ability to do that miracle too, duplicate miracles. That's the point. So are they going to be able to bring? They're going to deceive a lot of people because they're going to have the power to do that. Then the scriptures we're going to get into. Yes, so the magicians of Egypt did so with their enchantments, and Pharaoh's heart was hardened, neither did he hearken unto them as the Lord had said. Yep, they had the ability to do a counteract, but it wasn't on no level whatsoever, no level what the Moses was able to do. Yes, Moses had spiritual power, superpower, what they call, which is spiritual power. So Matthew 24 as well, to back up the point, and 24 says, for there shall arise false Christs and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders, just like Jammies, Moses, Pharaoh's false prophets, or soothsayers, magicians, Jammies and Jambries. They was able to duplicate a miracle similarly. And false prophets, and show great signs, yep, because the ultimate false prophet is the devil, the Edomites, right? What did they do with the atom bomb? Yep, they created the atom bomb, and it was Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Hiroshima and Nagasaki was bombed. Yeah, and that was a miracle to those people, especially in those days when they never saw anything like it. The Chinese and Elam and M.O.T.B, Chinese and the Japanese, was bombed. So it was at 1940, I think it was 1945. Yeah, 1945, around that time. Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Let me just fact check that. The date of Hiroshima and Nagasaki bombing. Let me just check. Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Yeah, August 9th, 1945. So yeah, that was the bombing. That was a miracle. You know, that's fact. That's documented. 1945. So yeah, that was a miracle. Once again, that was amazing what took place then. So they had the ability um, to show great signs, Matthew 24 and 24, great signs and wonders, inasmuch as if it were possible they shall deceive the very elect. That's their ultimate goal. They want to be able to deceive the very elect, right? Just like there was a lot of oohing, I'll say it like that. I guarantee there was a lot of oohing and ahhing when Jammies and Jamries cast down their rods and it turned to serpents, oohing and ahhing, but that stopped very quickly when Moses' serpent yam up their rods, yam up their serpents. That stopped immediately. So let's get some more why we know. They know the scriptures. That's why they're trying to make a duplicate of what Yahushua did on the earth. And also, I'm going to read it. Acts chapters 19 and 11 says, and God wrought special miracles by the hand of Paul. So by Yahushua and by the hands of Apostle Paul. So that from his body were brought unto the sick, unto Let me start again. So that from his body were brought unto the sick handkerchiefs, aprons, and disease departed from them, and evil spirits went out from them. So Apostle Paul had superpower. He had spiritual power too. Moses had spiritual power. We know about Yahushua when he's on the earth. There's a lot of, when you get into the Gospels, there's a lot of examples about Yahushua as well. As we know, let me read it. I'll read one of them. Matthew 11:5 says, the blind received their sight, and the lame walked, the lepers were cleansed, and the deaf hear. The dead are raised up, and the poor have their gospel preached to them. Yep. And blessed is he whosoever shall not be offended in me. Yahushua, when he was walking the earth, he created miracles, but there was a lot of controversy that he created with the wicked Pharisees and scribes. They was offended because they was wicked. But that's what he did, Yahushua, when he walked the earth. It's exactly what these people are trying to do. They want their birthright back, and they're trying to go through the back door to get it. That's another way of saying it. We're going to end off with a couple more precepts. That's the point, though. Revelation 6 and 4 says, and they went out another horse. Yep, that's the devil today, right? And he's red. When he came out red, hairy all over. So that's his color. And there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace. The power that he's got is, the atom bomb, the intercontinental ballistic missiles, Satan 1, that's some of the names. Satan 1, Satan 2. They've got another, Trump's got a Rolls Royce, or what you call it, an armored car called the Beast. So that's the weapon. These are the weapons. Some of the weapons was got the Most High gave them, right? To do what? And power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another. And there was given unto him a great sword. That's the great sword, right? And this is magic. Left hand side, magic is a sword. It's a weapon, and that's how they're using it. And ultimately, they're gonna, just like a lot were deceived. A lot were deceived with the Lucy Juicy. There was a lot deceived. A lot went down, and a lot of them are having side effects to it now. And they've been fooled as to thinking it's spiritual power. It ain't spiritual power. You're just gonna glow. You're just gonna start glowing in the dark soon. And they're gonna put it down to spiritual power. That's not spiritual power. Your DNA has been messed up. Who wants to glow in the dark? But let me just say something else. We are going to have the ability, if we want to glow, we're going to be able to send that glow. Or rays. Gamma ray, whatever you want. Anything we want, man. But this is not that video. I'm just making a point, though. It's not a superpower video or a spiritual power video. But really it is, though. Pointing at Esau, how he wants spiritual power on the left-hand side. So that's the kind of thing that he's going to be able to do. And he's been doing. Nagasaki is an example. So one more precept and we're going to end it. Revelation chapter 13, and since we're in 13, let's read 16. Let's read 14. And deceiveth them that dwell on the earth, both by means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast. Yep. The miracles are what they're working on. They're working on all there's a whole list of things they're doing. Right? It's gonna appear as a miracle, but yes, this without a doubt, as the scripture says, it's gonna backfire on them. But they're seeking out iniquities, which is left-hand side energy. Searching, which their heart, the scripture says that their heart is search out iniquity. They are wiser than Daniel. Ezekiel 37, 20, Ezekiel 28, and there's other scriptures as well that say that this man wants to appear as God. He wants that type of power to be worshipped as a god. Um, Saying to them that dwell on the earth, let me start again, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast which had the wound by a sword and did live. Yep, that's the revived Romans that had the wound and live again, been revived. The ancients has been revived. The revived Romans today are the Edomites today, right? Been revived, which is that's all prophecy. And let's read on. We're going to read up to 16 since we're in Revelation 13. And he had power to give life unto the beast. Yep. The image of the beast. Yep. The image of the beast is once again the revived Romans. Right. The ancient Romans were empowered by the dragon, the beast. Right. And they're empowered by the beast, the dragon. Right. The fearsome which represents, it goes when you get into it, is fearsome, dragon-like. And I went into it early this week about the draconian laws. And yes, Nero Trump is talking a lot, doing a whole heap of talk, talking about the insurrection laws and stuff like that. So he's speaking as a dragon. That he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be deleted, right? And they want us to do. Let's read the point. 16. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. And that's the selling. That's the, what you call it, 14. They're going to sell it in verses 14. They're going to sell it in a way of, yeah, you're going to have power. You can, any ailment you might have, if you got arthritis, it's going to heal that. If you got a leg that ain't right, you can grow your leg back. All kind of things they're going to come up with, you know. Brain issues, them kind of, all kinds of things, right? So they're selling it in a way of, yeah, it's a miracle, it's a healer. As Yehoshua when he was on the earth doing it in righteousness, they're going to push it in that same way, just the same way as they did with the Lucy Juicy. It's going to be a protector for you. So that's really the point, man. Yep. So this man is working on his miracles. Yep. This is what it is. Compound V, superpower portion. What does it do? Appears as a lie. And that's going to backfire on them anyway. Yeah. Navy blue liquid is usually contained within glass. I think that's it there in that movie. In that video. Contained within glass. It grants extraordinary abilities. Harry Potter, you're gonna be like Harry Potter, man. If you take it, you're gonna be able to do the same thing, they get them when they're young. If I inject you with this, have you seen Harry Potter? You're gonna be just like Harry Potter. Yeah, abilities when injected, and I'm kind of being kind of sarcastic, but it's true though. Yeah, onto extraordinary abilities when injected onto the circularity system. Circularity system of living things, including animals. These abilities, superpowers, are generally random, although certain factors can influence their exhibition. Right, and they get them when they're young. When I read this, but if you do it as an adult, you have the potential to die. You probably die, but they get them when they're young. In this GMV, if you want to read the whole of that, but that's really the point right there. Yeah. The what they are about Shimon Shai, right? So a lot of people are going to be deceived by these people, right? Yeah, obviously, as I read in Matthew, right? Even their attempt. Let me read it. I'm going to end with it. Matthew 11. No, it wasn't. It was Matthew 24. Matthew 24 and 24. Matthew 24 says, "For there shall arise false Christ and false prophets, and show great signs and wonders, inasmuch as if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect. If it were possible, but we know it's not possible.
FDA approved the first.
But they're working on it. Their left-hand side powers, without a doubt, as we can see.
FDA approved the first electronic pill, if I can call it like that.
It is basically biological chip that it is in the tablet, and once you take the tablet and dissolves into your stomach, sends a signal that you took the tablet. So imagine the applications of that, compliance, the insurance companies to know that the medicines that patients should take, they do take them. It is fascinating what happens in
It's fascinating because they're going to say it is fascinating, which we know is far from fascinating. You ain't going to get spiritual power. You're going to get Revelation 16, right? All kinds of C. You're going to get the C word and all kinds of side effects to boils. As a matter of fact, let me end with it. Rather than, let me just let the scripture speak. Revelation 16. 1 says, and I heard a great voice out of the temple saying to the seven angels, go your ways and pour out the vials of the wrath of Yahweh upon the earth. And the first went and poured out his vials upon the earth, and there fell a noisome and grievous sore upon them which had the mark of the beast, and upon them which worshipped its image. So it ain't gonna be remarkable. It is gonna be remarkable in a bad way.
It is fascinating what happens in that compliance.
FDA approved the first electronic pill, if I can call it like that.
It is basically biological chip that it is in the tablet, and once you take the tablet and dissolves into your stomach, sends a signal that you took the tablet. So imagine the applications of that, compliance, the insurance companies to know that the medicines that patients should take, they do take them. It is fascinating what happens in this field.
Right, so they're selling it in a way that, yeah, it's going to be remarkable, it's fascinating, it's going to be a miracle. Right, and this is how they're going to be selling. These are the things that step up and step closer to the M.O.T.B. That's just really the point. And then ultimately the M.O.T.B, yeah, that's going to be the icing on the cake. Right, these are prophecies that are here lining up, as we can see, in a way of they're setting it, selling it in such a way where, oh, it's going to be irresistible. And a lot of people will be deceived. But once again, the elect won't be deceived. Until the next one we act.